I'm Sheriff Michelle Cook of the Clay County Sheriff's Office, and tonight, just prior to 6 p.m., the Clay County Sheriff's Dispatch received a call to the 1100 block of US 17 to assist the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Clay County Sheriff's officers responded along with the Orange Park Police Department and encountered the JSO SWAT team who had been involved in a shooting. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Alan Parker of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good evening. So approximately a week ago, Broward County down in South Florida contacted us in reference to a murder investigation they were conducting. They asked us to help in the investigation. We executed a search warrant up in Jacksonville on a residence and a vehicle. During that search warrant, 2 different pistols were recovered, one in the vehicle, one in the residence. The information was relayed back to Broward County. They continue their investigation, and as of yesterday, they obtained an arrest warrant for the suspect in that case. At that time, they contacted us again. Our SWAT team began tracking the suspect up here in Jacksonville. Today, they were able to locate the suspect. They were able to make contact with him, as Sheriff said, down here in the 1100 block of Park Avenue. And upon contacting him, they came up and blocked the vehicle in. They made contact. The suspect made reference and specifically said, "I'm not getting out. You're going to have to shoot me. You're going to have to kill me." So as the one officer backed out, the second officer in the front maintained contact, continued to order him out of the vehicle. As the officer was making contact with him, the suspect then produced a handgun, pointed it at him. They engaged him and eliminated the threat at that point. They pulled him out of the vehicle when it was safe to do so. They began rendering aid. He did not survive his injuries. This is the 2 officers that are involved. It was both of them's second officer-involved incident. They've both been placed on administrative leave per policy. The state attorney is here also conducting an investigation. It's our 7th officer-involved shooting of the year. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Where was the suspect sitting in the car?
He's in the driver's seat.
The sedan, was it that black sedan that had the back window busted out?
Correct.
Is that the one?
Yes.
So did the gunfire come from like a certain angle, or was he pointing it at a certain angle?
He pointed at one of the officers, and they both engaged him at that time.
Was the suspect's window rolled down, or was his window up when he pointed the gun?
The rear window was up. The front window, I believe, was down.
But the thing about it is bullets will travel through a window like
No,
that in a situation.
I understand. I'm just saying, because if the window's down, it's easier to see. If the window's, up, it's...
They had a very good vantage point of what they were looking at. It's our SWAT officers. They're very trained, obviously. They had a very good position of what they were able to contact, and they were able to make good contact and see what was going on.
Just to be clear, the suspect never had an opportunity to fire himself.
No, as he produced the gun and pointed it, that's all part of the investigation, but the officers engaged the threat at that time.
Let me address that real quick. So I want to explain this to you. An officer is not required to let someone shoot at them before they use deadly force. That has never been okay, and it's not okay in this situation. So they did what they did. They followed the law, and it ended up like it did. But let me say it again. They do not have to wait to be fired at before they engage a suspect. If he raises a handgun, he points it at them, they are at that point able to use deadly force per Florida statutes.
So this was the second officer-involved shooting with these specific officers?
With those 2 officers, correct, yes.
Any idea how long the encounter was in general between the 2 before he produced that handgun?
Pretty quick, just a couple minutes at most.
Was there any sort of pursuit or anything prior to JSO coming out
Nope.
here? Or?
He was in a parking space when they contacted him. That was it.
So he was in the parking space, and how many cars barricaded him or closed in on him?
We had a few vehicles on the scene as part of a tactical maneuver they used called a blocking technique. So there was 3 in play.
Do you know which unit specifically was the one involved here?
It was our SWAT team.
Oh.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.